So here's a question. Would you shell out $100 just to see a movie? Renowned film director Steven Spielberg says, get ready because that's coming.
Eventually there's going to be there's going to be a price variance for, you're going to have to pay $25 to see the next Iron Man, and you're probably only going to have to pay $7 to see Lincoln. I mean, there's going to be that is going to be in our future as well.
That was Spielberg at the University of Southern California. Good to see you both. Thanks very much for joining us.
Absolutely, great to be here.
So what do you think in terms of movie prices going that high, Grady? Do you envision that taking place?
I think it's a little bit of an alarmist opinion on Steven Spielberg's part. You know, there is some truth to what he's saying. Movie ticket prices in urban centers like New York and like LA, they're already climbing to pretty extraordinary heights. You know, if you get something that's IMAX and 3D, you could well be paying over $20 a ticket. But the reality is that the MPAA, or rather the National Association of Theater Owners, they still say that the average ticket price in America is only $7.96, because in small towns and with matinees, a lot of theaters, their top ticket price tops out at $7, which is hard to believe if you're in New York City.
And it's interesting, Julia, that Spielberg predicted the $25 movie ticket on the big budget films. He said that some really big budget films will flop, and yet,
well, yes. That's right, Maria. And actually, I want to point out that it was George Lucas who said that we could see ticket prices as high as $100. And I think he put out that $100 number because he was saying that those big ticket movie-going experiences will become more like going to a Broadway show, and that there will be sort of a bifurcation in the movie industry. Now, Lucas put them at $100. Spielberg put the tickets at $25. But what I think they're talking about here is a very real trend. The studios are trying to figure out how to make this business work when consumers have so many options right now. And the truth is that to market a movie, no matter how small the movie is incredibly expensive. You can make a movie for $3 million, but it's still going to cost $30 million to market it. So if the studios make movies for $200 million, because that's the kind of budget that it takes to really pull massive audiences into theaters, it takes tens of millions more in terms of marketing. So they really have to make sure that their bets are worthwhile, and they're going to be less willing to distribute the smaller films. So I think that they are talking about a very real trend, and I think that a $25 movie ticket, if you're going to see a movie like Iron Man, which costs $200 million, if you want to see it opening weekend, maybe you would be willing to pay.
It's already dictating the behavior of the industry, Grady. I mean, you know, if they're not getting the revenue, they're not going to do big budget.
Exactly, and I think we should expect to see a lot more of these huge superhero movies and big spectacles, because the reality is the international box office is becoming more and more and more important. And something like Man of Steel or something like The Avengers just translates a lot more easily to audiences. And it does cost a ton. If that movie has a $200 million budget, you can bet that around the world, they're going to be spending well over $100 million to promote it. So they're looking for giant grosses, and that's not going to come in necessarily around the world with a movie like Lincoln.
Final word here, Julia.
And think about it, in terms of demand, Maria, it doesn't really make sense. Why should I pay the same amount of money to see Iron Man 3 opening weekend as I would to say see an art film a month after it's opened? The kind of demand is really varied, and so if you could charge people $50 to see Iron Man 3 on opening night, why not do it? And the theaters have really prevented the studios from having that kind of experimentation.
Really interesting stuff. Thanks, both of you. We appreciate it. We'll be watching. It's continuing to evolve, and it's all about the demand out there in terms of who's going to the movies. Thanks so much. Watch out for corporate